Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Spotlight Thursday. If we have not met before, my name is Lori, and I am a business success coach who helps aspiring digital nomads and entrepreneurs to build profitable remote based businesses that give them the freedom of time and location that they're looking for and allow them to hit 5+ figures in their business within 12 months or less. And if you are, I just want to also let you know if you're chiming in live, please let us know. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hello. If you're watching in the replay, do a hashtag replay and just say hello. Today, I am joined by Mahendra, who is a very talented social media strategist. He works primarily with coaches to help them plan out their business strategies to increase awareness of their brand, grow their following, and create a profitable ecosystem for their business on social media. He is also one of my favorite things, a fellow digital nomad. And today he's going to talk with me about how you can optimize your social media pages to position yourself as an authority in your space, which all comes down to personal branding. And you've probably heard me talking about this before. It's something that is very close to heart for myself and something that I myself teach. So I think this is going to be a great conversation and a great one for you to learn. So make sure you have a notebook or something, take some notes on this conversation. And I will also say Mahendra, who is he has his own company, which is Web Saga. He is also, we're lucky enough to have him as part of the Zennial Traveler team as our social media strategist. So got a little personal connection here on this one. So we'll have a good chat today. So Mahendra, if you could, just briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into some personal branding and social media stuff.
Sure. Hi. Hello, everyone, and thanks, Laurie, for introducing me. So I'm Mahendra Shukla. I'm a social media strategist at WebSaga, and I help primarily web coaches with their strategies. Right. I'm more like a data-driven strategist, and I'm also lucky I'm a part with the Zenal Traveler as well. So almost like it's 10 months of we have a good partnership right now. So
Mm-hmm.
thanks, Laurie, for inviting me to talk about social media here. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, I guess to start out with, I want to talk about, I guess, let's take one step back first. Let's tell people what exactly is a personal brand. And then we can kind of jump into some of those main points that we were talking about, because I would hope at this point, if you have your own business, that you are aware at least of what it is, even if you haven't developed yours. But Mahendra, do you want to just kind of explain to people what exactly that personal brand is?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with personal brand, let's say something to identify you, right? Because there are so many businesses which are coming on daily basis, right? So if you talk about some big brands like Apple or Nike, right? So they have something special about them, right? So if we talk about Nike, right, there's a tick sign, right? And if we just see that sign, we can say, okay, this is Nike. So this is something about personal branding which can basically demarcate and it can basically establish you as a leader in your niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you have a good personal brand, so it can help you to beat your competition, it can help you to grow, and definitely, I mean, it will bring you stand out of the crowd, right? So one thing, just for example, let's say there are people who ask me that whether they need to do personal branding or not, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one very simple step or one very simple experiment, like which you can do with your brand or let's name, right? Just put your name or your brand name in Google, right? If you don't find anything on your first page, definitely you need to work on your personal brand. So if you see, let's example Neil Patel, right? He's one of the big. So the moment you put this Neil Patel in the Google, right, you see all the links are there which are related to that person. So at
Mm-hmm.
least you should have something out there in the Google on the very first page. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're putting your name in there, you should be one of the first people, if not the first person coming up, right? Um, so thank you, Mahendra. So I guess now the next thing I want to really just dive into is why it is so important to why your brand needs to be personal as an entrepreneur, especially entrepreneurs that are new and just starting out, so that it can be powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to connect with your audience, right? So, I mean, there are so many companies are there, they are competing, right? There are so many product and services, right? So, if you're not able to connect with your audience, all your strategies are just going into vain, right? So, just
Hmm.
to have that good connection so that people will listen to you, what you are just trying to sell, you need to have a good person branding. Yeah.
So I want to, just expand on that a little more because, as you were saying, like you have Nike and Apple, et cetera, and those aren't personal brands. But I want you to also think, even around, and maybe those one. Well, I guess even with Nike, while they don't necessarily have a specific spokesperson, but they usually have people that are affiliated with their brand, which then makes you think like of those people. Usually, it's a sports, star of some sort. When you think of their brand, and I think of, for instance, even as a large brand like Virgin, whether it's airlines, Virgin Galactic, and you think, what do you think of when you think of Virgin? You think of Richard Branson's face, right? He's a billionaire and he still has his own personal brand, and he probably has more followers on his personal brand than he does with any of his individual lines of business. Because his personal brand behind that is what makes it so powerful, because people connect um, with the person and they feel that connection, right? So that leads me into our next, kind of topic that I wanted to touch on, and that's really how to foster connectivity with your audience. How can you build your brand, using social media to connect with your audience? And I'll let you speak on that one, Mahendra.
Sure, sure. So, I mean, this is very important that you should be able to create connection. In terms of connection, I say like real connections, right? It's just not a superficial thing. So, there are like 4 or 5 tips, like which I generally give to my clients as well, right? That how to build the authentic relations, right? So, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be like direct to your client, right? You should not be sending your content or message to everyone. I mean, you are not an ice cream, right? That you can make everyone happy. So you have to be like very, very, I mean, say, you have to be like a guided missile, right? Whatever content you are trying to create or something, it should go to directly to your target audience. They should be able to interpret it. So, first thing, don't create content for everyone. Just focus on your niche, your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I will say
Absolutely.
like be exclusive, right? So if you are like there's so many competitions, your audience is only going to remember if there is something different about you. So you have to be bring something different, something special in your content or in your strategy or in your personal branding so that people can simply identify by that particular thing. So these two
Absolutely.
things are, I mean, they are like very important in terms of bringing the like real connection with the audience. I mean, there are few more like which are very important. Something like taking feedback. I mean, so this is something most of the people are scared of. They feel that okay, if I'm going to be an authority, right? So should I ask
Mm-hmm.
my customers? Yes, definitely. Because when you are asking your audience to get the feedback, right? So what it
Mm-hmm.
means is basically you are trying to bring in the process. This way, your audience will feel connected and they will feel that yes, they are also the part of the process. So taking feedback is very, very important. Well, next I will say that like try to bring some humor or some emotions, right? This is very
Mm-hmm.
important. You have to be like a human, not a machine, right? You don't have to be like perfect.
Absolutely.
It's fine if you're making mistakes, ready to say accept that mistake publicly. Yes, I have done the
Mm-hmm.
mistake. Even I have done, right? Sometimes I made a post which is not correct, and sometimes my audience come and say that okay, this is not correct. And yes, if I go there and accept that it make me normal and it make me like having a good connection with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one last I will say that try to have like an omni-channel marketing. I mean, we know that some of the brands are, let's say if they are in the different platforms, for example, it's on Facebook or Instagram. So, whatever messages you are communicating or conveying to your audience, it has to be synced on all the platforms because your audience is going to check on Facebook also, on Instagram also. And if they see that you are saying something else on LinkedIn, something else
Yep.
on Facebook, they won't be trusting you. So, I mean, these are like very important to be true to who you are to build that connectivity with your audience.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to just clarify again for anybody who, is maybe a beginner out there, like when he's saying you need to have the same message, on every platform, it doesn't mean that it has to be exactly the same. You need to cater it to your audience on that platform, because the people on LinkedIn aren't going to be the same as the people on Instagram necessarily. But like you said, you have to be true to yourself and be authentic, so that they don't go and feel like it's a completely different person, a completely different brand when they go on that other platform. Um, that's it's part of just having that same presence around you everywhere you go online. It's the same thing if you're, for instance, like Mahendra is today, a guest on like a podcast or a show, and the message that you're putting out there needs to mimic what you're putting on your social media, because that is how people see you and that's how you build authority in a specific space. Um, so beyond that, let's talk about what are some tips that we can give people really to just become an authority in their space. And when I say an authority, just again for people that this concept might be a little newer, it doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but it does need to be like you are somebody that people look to for knowledge. So I'm a business coach. People look to me for business tips. Mahendra is a social media strategist. They look to him for social media. Are there people that know more than us? Probably. um, but the thing is, we do know what we're talking about, and we show that in our content. We show that in the way we present ourselves, um, which has made us authorities in our specific areas of expertise. So, Mahendra, what are some like ideas when you're working with clients that you tell them that they need to be doing to help position themselves as an authority?
Okay, sure. So first of all, we need to understand like whenever your audience is coming to like these social media platforms, and let's say they are looking for businesses, right? If they are
Mm-hmm.
looking for connecting with friends is fine, but if they are looking for a businesses, definitely they are having some pains, right? They are looking for some solutions. So your content or like your strategy or let's say your complete branding should be providing some value. I'm not saying that you should have to solve all the problem. I mean, the way like Laurie, you said it perfectly right. You can't solve all the problems, but whatever you pick, let's say, I mean, Laurie, like she's like business coach, right? So yes, in business coach you should be able to like understand all the pain problems, right, and have a
Mm-hmm.
solution for that. So whenever your audience is coming to you with any problem, right, you should be able to provide value. So this is the first thing. Whatever you do to build authority, you have to be like providing value in that particular niche, right? Whatever small niche is there, but you should be the person where the person would like to go. Second, one more thing I would like to add with this is that try to use variety of contents, right? I mean, how this
Mm-hmm.
relates to authority, because we need to understand that we all are like different, right? Someone having like good analytical ability, someone is having good logical ability, right? So
Yeah.
this is the reason that some people will understand through a good video, some people will understand the same message through infographics or images, right? So whatever
Mm-hmm.
the value is there, you just try to represent it through different medium, right? You use images, infographics, video, whatever,
Right.
to convey the message, right? So this will just help you to build that authority to almost everyone, right? So the people who is not able to understand through a video will be able to understand through images or something like that, right?
Yep.
One more thing, especially to the new entrepreneur or something, don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? So this is what I have seen that,
Yep.
especially the new people, they spend so much time in like trying to learn so many things. And I mean, you just pick 4 or 5 people like who are the like authority in your niche. Try to see what they are doing, and you will be able to like get a lot of understanding that how they are building their authority, right?
Right.
So I mean, you can learn from there. Fourth, I will say in terms of like establishing authority, referrals, testimonials, right? So
Yep.
if you are saying something about yourself, it might have a little value, but let's say if your customer is going to take, it may have more than 100 times of that value. So whenever you're doing something good, your
Mm-hmm.
customer is happy, get the recommendation, get the testimonials, and go and show it to the public, right? You have to show it to
Absolutely.
your audience so that they will trust what others are saying about you, right? And
Yep.
I will say that, and the last point I will say that if you want to build authority, you have to be patient and consistent. I mean, this is where most of, even I was like, have given up before in my previous
Yep.
startup, right? So you have to be patient and you have to be consistent with your efforts, and only then, like, you are able to build authority in your niche or in your basically market
Yeah.
segment. Yeah.
I want to just, yeah, consistency, consistency, consistency. Like, want to just like hammer that in for people because I see, as a coach, when people come to me, and part of what I do is teaching people how to leverage social media to build their business, and they can't understand why people don't want to book calls with them, or why they can't get clients, and it's because they're not being consistent. Well, I posted a video or I did that. Yeah, but you haven't posted anything in 7 days, and then you posted things for 3 days, and then you hadn't posted for 2 weeks before that, and they're just sporadic, and their audience doesn't know what to expect from them either. So you have to be consistent if you want that authority, because if you're teaching others as an authority, they want to know that they can count on you. um, I want to talk just briefly about, to the need for video presence, right? Whether testimonials as well, but I know, this is something, again, we started in a coaching relationship, we've transitioned into, the strategist one, and this is a conversation that we have a lot, the importance of video as an authority, and people being able to not only just see your tips in a caption, but to see you and the types of things that you can teach in video, and going on, being a guest on other, shows and whatnot, to be able to do that, right?
Right.
And that's, I just, want you to reiterate, I guess, for the audience, how important that is, to have that presence, because I know when I first, not even like after I started out, for a long time I didn't have a video presence, and I wasn't getting the consistent flow of clients that I really wanted to. But once you actually start doing it, you do see the results.
Right. So, I mean, in terms of video, like, we have to just understand the basic, right? So, because
Hmm.
when we are watching a video, so both our eyes and ears are working, right? So,
Right.
if we are just putting an image or text, like, okay, so if the text is there, we are just reading. But like when we are having a video, so I mean, all our senses are working at the same time. It's a little more easier, and I mean, it's a little easier to basically convey your message. Let's say if you want to tell a story, right? You can write a
Hmm.
story, but it will be a little difficult to create an emotion. So I mean, one of the things like which I talked about, that how to build connectivity is emotions, right? So when you basically go for a video, right, you can, let's say if you want to, if there's a happy moment, you can basically smile, right? I mean, let's say if I'm smiling right now, so people can see that yes, he's smiling, and they will understand it, right? If I'm, let's say,
Right.
angry, right, so they will understand. So this has basically more than 10 times impact on the same message, right? Whatever the message is conveyed through a text or image, if you go through a video, it has 10 times more impact. So definitely, I mean, this is the time, like when video, I mean, we know that YouTube, right, this is like
Right.
giant basically just because of video. So video for your personal branding is like very important. Second,
Hmm.
there's more trust, right? Because when people see you exactly, they see your face, you are standing in front of
Right.
them, they know that, right? Because they see that, okay, you are also like a normal person, and it kind of gives them more confidence, right? That, okay, if
Right.
that person can do it, why can't I, right? Because we all are like very normal people. So, I mean, if you can connect on video, this is like very good, like in terms of building relationship or basically having a like good personal branding.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Which, I think on that note, we're getting kind of to that mark here, where we've been going for a while. So, I just want to kind of start to wrap it up here. But everything that we've shared here, um, you know, Mahendra, these are the types of strategies that he helps people to implement, both through the Web Saga and the Zennial Traveler brands. So, want to just let people know where they can connect with you and learn more about personal branding and how to implement their own personal brand in their business. So to connect with Mahendra here, you can reach him on Instagram at AskWebSaga, right? Or you can also message us at the Zennial Traveler, and we will help you to get an appointment set up with our team to discuss these things and how you can implement your own personal brand. Mahendra, any last words of wisdom or pieces of advice that you want to give people trying to work on their personal brand?
Yeah, personal brand, I will say I mean, I will just share a like normal incident, right? So let's say if you are going for a date, right? So I mean, if you met someone and like you don't go and propose, or let's say if you met someone for 5 minutes, right, and then the other
Right.
person proposes, what you are going to do, right? I mean, you will be like kind of shocked, right? That doesn't saying yes or no. So this personal branding is something like that, right? You take time, right? When you are going to
Mhm.
date, you take time, you take step by step, and right, you try to build yourself so that the next person see you something different, see you like one in the billions, right? And their life partners. Exactly, this is what personal branding is. You have to be like the perfect date for your audience. I mean, your followers will see
I
that,
love
okay,
that.
this is my perfect date. So, but for that, you have to spend time. I mean, with your date, you spend time, right? You put effort. So, same here, take your time. And I mean, you just keep consistent with your efforts. And definitely, I mean, you are going to find a perfect date in terms of your audience.
I love that analogy. So, on that note, that thank you very much, Mahendra. So, just want to thank you so much for being here with me. And again, you can connect
Thank
with
you.
Mahendra through his page, Ask Web Saga, or directly through the Zennial Traveler. Send us a message, or go ahead and join our Facebook group, which is the Build and Scale a Profitable Business Work from Anywhere. It's a mouthful, but that is the name, word for word, for first access to support from an active community of like minded entrepreneurs, free downloads, and education to support you in building your business, as well as first access and sneak peeks to our programs and offerings, including social media strategy offered by our team and headed up by Mahendra. So, and Mahendra is also in that group and is very active and will definitely pop into your comments if you have questions that you're posting there. So go ahead and join us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mahendra.
You
Have a good
too.
day,
Have a good
everybody.
day. Bye bye.